Enchiladas. When I say enchiladas, I mean the real deal. I'm talking no Taco Bell, no Chipotle thing. No, this is my mom's recipe. As you might know, I am from Mexico, so these are truly authentic green Mexican enchiladas. So without further ado, let's jump into the ingredients. For today's recipe, we're gonna need 2 chicken thighs, salt to taste, but roughly about 1 tablespoon, full fat sour cream. If you like it spicy, 2 jalapeno peppers. If you don't need it spicy, you can totally avoid this. About 1 full bowl of green tomatoes. I weighed myself this and it's 700 grams. 3 large garlic cloves, half onion, a quarter of a bunch of cilantro, some fresh cheese. Originally in Mexico, we use cotija cheese or panela cheese, but in Canada, that's really hard to find. So I'm just gonna be using some fresh feta cheese. And any of your favorite keto tortilla replacements, I'm gonna be using the egg wraps that I buy in Costco, but if you have any others that you like, you can go ahead and replace them with that. Also, I would like to point out that this recipe is only keto because of the tortilla. If you're not doing keto, you can make this same recipe, but just with regular tortillas. The first thing we're gonna do is to cook our chicken. For that, I'm gonna cut a quarter piece of our onion and put it with my chicken thighs. Once we have our chicken and our onion together, we're gonna transfer it into the pot that we're gonna cook it in. Next, we're gonna fill it up with some water all the way to cover the chicken. Once we have our water, we're gonna season this with a little bit of salt, cover it with our lid, and cook it in medium-high heat for about 20 to 30 minutes. While our chicken is cooking, we're gonna get everything else ready to make our enchiladas. So for our green tomatoes, we're also gonna be cooking them. Transfer them into a pot, as well as your peppers. Also guys, I know you might be like, oh, green tomatoes, that's probably so hard to find. Well, actually not really. You can just find them at any grocery store if you look for them. I just get them at Superstore. They come in a package and they're great. Once we have our vegetables in our pot, we're gonna fill it up with some water, but just about a third. You don't wanna put so much water in this because we want the tomatoes to cook with the steam. Not much with the water, but with the steam. Now that we have the water, we're gonna cover our tomatoes and we're gonna be cooking them on medium-high heat as well. The tomatoes cook faster than the chicken, so just come check on them in about 7 minutes. Both of my pots are cooking the food, and now we're just gonna chop our onion to get ready for the next step. Right now we have 3/4 of our half an onion, and we're gonna grab one of them and just leave it like that because we're gonna be blending it with our sauce. Our other half, we're gonna be slicing it like this. So we're just gonna be slicing it like this, half moon, and do the rest with all our half an onion. Because we're gonna be blending our garlic, the only thing I'm gonna do to them is to peel them. And for our onion, we're just gonna be removing the root. Our 7 minutes have passed and I'm gonna check on my tomatoes. As you can see, our tomatoes have changed color and they're not as bright as they used to be. So they should have like a dull green color like this instead of like this one over here. So I'm just gonna put this one that was on the top in the bottom. You don't want your tomatoes to explode like this one over here. So I'm just gonna put it on top, let them boil for another 4 minutes and come back to them. So I'm back with my tomatoes and I'm gonna check them out again. They all seem cooked, so I'm just gonna remove them from the heat and drain the water. Really carefully, I'm gonna transfer my tomatoes into a strainer. My chicken is all cooked, so I'm just gonna turn it off and bring it to my table. Now that my chicken is all cooked, I'm gonna transfer my 2 chicken thighs into a regular bowl. And I'm gonna set them aside and let them cool down for a few minutes. Meanwhile, I'm gonna make the sauce. For my sauce, I'm gonna grab my peppers, both of them, and remove the tail. So in my blender, I'm gonna put my cooked tomatoes, my cilantro, garlic, the piece of onion we saved earlier, so the one it's uncut, and just separate the layers of it and dump it into our blender. I'm gonna start by adding 1 pepper, see how the spice is for that, and then if I wanna add the second one, I will. With a spoon, I'm gonna grab all the cooked onion from our chicken. So remove your onion from the chicken stock because we are using everything. We do not waste anything in here. And transfer it to the blender. And we're gonna start by adding 1 cup of chicken broth. See how thick the sauce is, and maybe we'll add more later on. We're also gonna add a pinch of salt. And we blend all of this together. My ingredients are all blended and I'm gonna try it out to test the spice, the salt, and see the thickness of it. It's really good, but I think it could use a little bit more spice. So I'm gonna add my other pepper. For the salt, it's to taste and I think it's missing a little bit more, so another pinch of salt. For the thickness, I think it's good, so I'm not gonna add any more chicken broth. So let's blend it one more time. Once our sauce is all blended, we're gonna cook it for another few minutes. To do that, in a pan, we're gonna fry some of our onion and then add our sauce. In a pan, I'm gonna put about 1 tablespoon of olive oil or any oil of your liking and preheat it in medium heat. Now that my oil is warm, I'm gonna add my onion, but I'm gonna save a couple of slices for the toppings of my enchiladas. Put your onion into your preheated oil in the pan, and we're gonna cook them until you can see they start to look a little bit translucent rather than just white. Our onion is cooked, and now I'm gonna dump my sauce into the pan. Mix it all together and we're gonna bring it up to a simmer. My sauce is boiling now, and what we're gonna do is bring the temperature down so it simmers for about 10 minutes on low heat. While our sauce is simmering, I'm gonna get my chicken ready and the rest of the ingredients as well. I had my chicken thighs with the skin, and I'm gonna remove the skin because we won't be using it. Next, I'm gonna remove the chicken from the bone because we're gonna be shredding our chicken meat. And the reason why I like to use chicken thighs and chicken with the skin and bone is because it gives the chicken broth a better flavor, and that way our sauce tastes even better. Once my chicken has no skin or bones, I'm gonna shred it into small pieces like this because this will be the filling for our enchiladas. My chicken is all shredded and my sauce is done simmering, and what we're gonna do now is assemble our enchiladas together. We're gonna need another pan and we're gonna preheat it on medium heat. We're gonna have to put a little bit of oil in here, so I'm just gonna be using some vegetable oil spray and spray it all over your pan. Now, these egg wrap things are really thin, so I like to use 2 of them together each time. I have 2 of them together in here, and I'm just gonna use it as it was 1 tortilla. Once our vegetable oil is heat up, we're gonna put our egg wrap and let it warm up for a couple seconds on each side. Flip it around. Once it's warm on both sides, we're gonna transfer this into our plate. We're gonna fill it up with our shredded chicken. And now we're just gonna roll it up. I usually eat 3 of these at a time, so I'm gonna warm up 2 more wraps and fill them up with chicken. Once we have our 3 wraps full of chicken, we're gonna top it with our sauce. So cover your enchiladas with your sauce. I like them extra saucy, so don't be shy. Once they're covered with sauce, we're on to the toppings. We have our sour cream, and I'm gonna put a little bit on top of each of my enchiladas. Top it with some fresh cheese. Lastly, our fresh onion. And there you have it, guys, your authentic Mexican enchiladas. And now, let's try it out. Okay, so we wanna get a little bit of everything. Onion, sour cream, cheese, chicken, and the sauce. It tastes like home. It's so good. The sauce is super tomatoey, and because we put the sour cream and the cheese, is not crazy spicy or anything, and it's just so delicious. The real deal, guys, I promise. Mexican enchiladas. I hope you guys liked the recipe and the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, turn on the bell notification button, and leave me a comment. If you also want to follow me on my keto journey, I will be linking my social media down below. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys on the next video.